welcome to another edition of Strictly Sports. I am your host, Anthony Florio. I am joined, as always, by good old MF Michael Fletcher. We are awaiting perhaps the presence of Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we will catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we will hopefully have him back with us tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. But a lot of things going on in the world of sports, and of course, our lead story this evening, of course, the biggest story in the sports world, hands down, and rightfully so. Um, Tiger Woods was recovering from major surgery on his right leg Tuesday evening at Harbor UCLA Medical Center after being involved earlier in the day in a high speed single car accident outside Los Angeles. Woods suffered comminuted open fractures to both the upper and lower portions of his tibia and fibula in his right leg, as well as damage to the ankle bones and trauma to the muscle and soft tissue of the leg, according to an updated release via his social media account on Tuesday night. A comminuted fracture is when a bone breaks into more than two pieces, and an open fracture suggests bone broke the skin. As part of the procedure, Wood's right leg was stabilized by inserting a rod into the tibia. Screws and pins were used to stabilize the bones in the foot and ankle. A surgical release of the covering of the muscle was also performed to relieve pressure due to swelling. Woods was the sole occupant of a 2021 Genesis GV80 SUV when he headed northbound on a downhill, windy portion of Hawthorne Avenue, a two-lane road in Rancho Palos Verdes. Los Angeles County Sheriff Alex Villanueva said Woods was driving at a relatively greater speed than normal when his vehicle crossed onto the wrong side of the road at approximately 7:12 a.m. before veering off the road entirely and onto a hillside. A neighbor called 911 to alert authorities of the accident, and Woods was conscious when they arrived on the scene. It's very fortunate that Mr. Woods was able to come out of this alive, said Carlos Gonzalez, an LA County Sheriff's Department deputy, who was the first to report to the scene of the accident. Personnel from the LACSD said the interior of the vehicle Woods was driving remained intact. That, combined with the fact that Woods was wearing a seatbelt, allowed him to escape what otherwise would have been a fatal crash, according to Villanueva. There was no evidence of impairment, according to the sheriff's department, and Woods was reportedly calm and lucid when authorities arrived on the scene. On Wednesday, Villanueva provided an update on the crash, stating the LACSD was not contemplating charges against Woods. This remains an accident, Villanueva said. Accident is not a crime. They do happen, unfortunately. Woods' longtime agent, Mark Steinberg, released a statement after the initial report of the crash, which occurred about 30 miles west of where Tiger grew up in Cyprus. Tiger Woods was in a single car accident this morning in California, where he suffered multiple leg injuries. He is currently in surgery, and we thank you for your privacy and support. Woods was in California for a 2-day content shoot with Golf Digest / Golf TV after serving as host for the Genesis Invitational, which finished on Sunday. Pictures surfaced on social media of Woods smiling with Dwayne Wade and David Spade at Rolling Hills Country Club on Monday, but with his movement still restricted from the back procedure he had just a few months ago, he did not hit balls or play any holes. The shoot involved Woods giving on-course lessons to a number of celebrities, but he mostly provided instruction and hit a few putts. He was in good spirits on Monday, but did not arrive to the course for the second day of shooting. Discovery Golf, parent company of Golf Digest and Golf TV, issued the following statement. Tiger has a long-term partnership with Discovery, developing exclusive content for Golf TV and Golf Digest. He was filming his latest series with us yesterday, which will see him giving on-course instruction to a number of celebrities, including Jada Pinkett Smith, Dwayne Wade, and David Spade. He was due to continue filming with us today. Everyone at Discovery and Golf Digest wishes Tiger a speedy recovery, and our thoughts are with him, his family, and his team at this time. Former President Barack Obama tweeted out, sending my prayers to Tiger Woods and his family tonight. Here's to a speedy recovery for the GOAT of golf. If we've learned anything over the years, it's to never count Tiger out. And finally, Woods told CBS's Jim Nantz that he was awaiting the results of an upcoming MRI before he could ramp up practicing and training for a return to competition. News of the hospitalization of one of sports' biggest stars triggered an outpouring of support for Woods on social media and led to extensive coverage on news networks. This is the latest in a long history of injuries for Woods, a 15-time major champion and 82-time PGA Tour winner. He last competed alongside his son at the PNC Championship, which wrapped up on December 20th in Orlando. He then underwent a microdiscectomy procedure to remove a pressurized disc fragment that was pinching a nerve. It was his 5th back surgery overall and the first since his spinal fusion in April of 2017. And that's the story. So with that being said, our thoughts and our prayers are with Tiger and his family right now as he continues to recover from this. And whether you love the guy or whether you like him or not, you damn sure have to respect him. And this is life. These things happen. We have to deal with our lives. And one minute you're fine, and then the next minute you're not. And it's unfortunate, but we wish him the absolute best. And like former President Obama said in that tweet, there's always one thing we've always learned all these years, whether it was on the golf course or off. You never count this guy out. And we'll have to wait and see what happens from here. So not much more to say on this. MF, come on in. This has definitely been the big story in the sports world all week, and rightfully so. And I haven't really heard anything new about this. I don't know if any news come in on your end about this.
Well, all I can tell you right now is that he has been discharged to another hospital for rehabilitation as of right now. Tiger was in LA. Now he's going to, I do believe, to another medical facility. I think it's UCLA, where he's going to start the rehabilitations for the knee. And he's probably going to be in there for a while, guys. So he definitely had some real nasty injuries, like Anthony had alluded to. For Tiger, he's very lucky to be alive. Based off the intel and the updates that we were getting, is that he was very fortunate. We almost had a major tragedy on our hands. 2 years in a row, guys. We almost had a major tragedy in California, in LA. Of course, everybody remembers the helicopter crash that claimed the life of Kobe and Gianna Bryant. And now, almost 1 year later, we almost had Tiger. We have Tiger. So, I mean, it would have been, oh my God. It would have been devastating. That would have, man.
There is, MF, I think it's safe to say, if this had happened, if this had claimed his life, this show tonight would have been a full tribute show to Tiger Woods, hands down.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. For what he has brought to the world of golf, what he has brought as in the sports world, not only that, but for his success, for his wins, for all of the titles that he won. And the thing was, Tiger was dealing with some injuries. He was dealing with a back injury recently, and he had to do another procedure on the back, which I think is like his 6th or 7th. So his body was wearing down. He was definitely, by far, I think, one of the greatest golfers of our time going in. Many people believe that Jack Nicklaus's major records were going to fall with Tiger, what he was doing. But then a lot of things happened outside of the golf world. There was the incident where he had a car crash in Florida. But then what happened next was unthinkable. And that was many other women stepped forward talking about infidelity that Tiger did. We don't need to get into that, but that really derailed his career. I mean, let's be realistic. Let's be honest. The discretions that Tiger made, especially with all these women stepping forward saying that they had an inappropriate relationship with Tiger Woods during the time that he was married. He lost his marriage, lost millions of dollars in endorsements because almost every endorsement company that Tiger was affiliated with dumped him. Literally didn't want nothing to do with them. And he really had to repair his image. It was definitely a crash and burn type situation for Tiger Woods. But he did recover and then came back, started winning some tournaments, and then won, I believe it was the PGA Championship, which was one of the biggest majors out there, and he won it. And he ended on an up note. There was some optimism about 2020, 2021 going into the next season. And, he had one tournament, didn't really do really well there. And then we started hearing about injuries. So there was some injuries popping up again. He, like we said, the back procedure, which he had literally about a week ago before this accident happened. So it was really, you want to talk about the worst time ever. And there was already talk that he might not have been able or would be even ready to play in Augusta in April for the Masters. There was talk that Tiger probably was on the outside looking in, was probably not going to play the Masters this year, which is one of the biggest event of the year on the golf calendar. For all you aficionados out there, there are 4 major events that you always circle around your calendar each and every year: the Masters, the British Open, the PGA Championship, and there's one other. I'll look through it and I'll find it, but there's always 4 major events every year that the PGA put on. Then, of course, there's also the President's Cup, which is always USA versus the world, and he's always a participant in that. Or the Ryder Cup, which is, you want to talk about big stakes at that, USA versus Europe. It becomes one of the premier events in golf as well. So, and Tiger Woods has been a participant of that, winning 2 Ryder Cups in his career. So, Tiger is definitely one of the biggest names out there, one of the biggest ambassadors of golf, and people consider him one of the greatest players that ever played the game. And he is responsible for guys like Rory McIlroy, for Dustin Johnson, Justin Thomas, all these great young guns, as I like to call them, that's elevating their game up because they got to see a guy like Tiger Woods, a guy like Phil Mickelson, who just got inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame, and Tiger has been inducted into the Golf Hall of Fame as well. So it's definitely a tough situation, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are with Tiger and his family right now. Speedy recovery and hope for the best. Really nothing more to add, Anthony. Let's just move right on along.
All right. We're going to move to baseball now. We have a retirement that we're going to address, and we also have one big hot stove story. This is something that MF wanted to address, and we're going to honor that right here and right now. Brian Dozier announces his retirement. He is retiring from baseball after a 9-year major league career, the first 7 of which were spent with the Minnesota Twins. The 33-year-old batted .248, .325, .441, with 593 runs scored, 202 doubles, 21 triples, 167 home runs, 491 RBI, and 98 stolen bases in 955 games for the Twins from 2012 to 18. Participated in the 2014 Gillette Home Run Derby at Target Field. was an All-Star in 2015 and won his lone career Rawlings Gold Glove Award in 2017. And that's then he was traded to the LA Dodgers on July 31st of 2018. Spent the final years of his career in the National League with the Dodgers. Was a member of the World Series champion Washington Nationals in 2019. And then he played for both the San Diego Padres and the New York Mets in 2020. Earned a World Series ring with the Nationals after recording his sixth career 2020 season and hitting .238 with 54 runs scored, 20 doubles, 20 homers, and 50 RBI in 135 regular season games. He ends his career with a .244, .325, .441 slash, and 1,144 career games. So not much more. I'll get into the rest of it in just a moment. But MF, I know this is something you wanted to address. So Brian Dozier announces his retirement. So it's all yours.
Yeah, no, like we said, this was a little bit of a slow sports week, but Brian Dozier was a very good second baseman, one of the premier players that we remember. Anthony knows him really well from the days of the Minnesota Twins because of the wars that he had with the New York Yankees. And he was a little bit of a nuisance for the Yankees. He was a pesky nuisance for a number of years with them. So. Brian Dozier was a really good player, very successful career, and there was really nothing more to add. So, Anthony, you're normally the Mr. Baseball of the crew, so I turn it to you for his stats, figures, and whatever you would like to talk, even personal experience watching him against your beloved Yankees.
Well, not just against the Yankees, but just as a ball player altogether. Let me see. All right. He was an 8th round selection by the Twins in the 2009 first-year player draft. Dozier came up through the system as a shortstop, but shifted to second base prior to the 2013 season. During his Minnesota tenure, Dozier etched his name into the Twins' record books in myriad ways, both on and off the field. His 167 homers are tops by a second baseman in club history, and he is one of 2 players in club history to record a 20-double, 20-homer season at that position. Doing 4 straight years from 2014 to 17. His 2016 streak of 11 consecutive games with an extra base hit is a Twins/Senators franchise record and tied with Bobby Abreu and Alex Rodriguez for the second longest streak in the majors since 2000, behind only Hall of Famer Chipper Jones' 14-game run in 2006. Dozier's 127 homers from 2014 to 17 were 6th most in the American League in that span, trailing only Chris Davis with 137, Mike Trout with 139, Josh Donaldson with 140, Edwin Encarnacion with 153, and tops was Nelson Cruz, 166. His career high 42 home runs in 2016 made him the second Twin to ever hit the 40-homer plateau and matched Hall of Famer Rogers Hornsby for the second highest single season total by a second baseman in Major League history, according to Stats LLC. Dozier batted first in 519 career games with the Twins, and his 28 leadoff homers remain a club record. Dozier's hustle on the field was matched by an electric personality off it that inspired camaraderie across the organization and the sport. Among other honors, he was the recipient of the 2013 Mike Augustin Media Good Guy Award by the Twin Cities chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America, the Twins 2014 Heart and Hustle Award by the MLB Players Alumni Association, the 2015 Carl R. Pohlad Award for Twins Outstanding Community Service, and the 2016-17 Bob Allison Award for Twins Leadership. Solid career, no doubt about it. I'm glad that he's going to go out with a ring. I mean, that's always great to hear. It definitely warms my heart when I hear a player retiring with a championship of some sort, and that definitely makes me happy. I'm glad that he got a ring as part of that Nationals team in 2019, and we wish him all the best in his retirement, and more power to him, and that's pretty much all there is. So So with all that said, we're going to stay in baseball because we'd like to give Derek Ferreira, our dear friend Derek Ferreira, we want to give him credit for this next story because he did a video on this. Scott Kazmir. You remember Scott Kazmir? He was one time one of the big anchors of the Tampa Bay Rays rotation way back when. Scott Kazmir has agreed to a minor league deal with the San Francisco Giants. Jed Lowry isn't the only former Oakland A's All-Star looking to make a comeback in 2021. Another familiar name is back in the Bay Area, though on the other side of it. The San Francisco Giants signed pitcher Scott Kazmir to a minor league contract, reported by Buster Olney, the great Buster Olney from ESPN. If he makes the MLB squad, then he'll earn $600,000, just over league minimum, and there is no opt-out date by which the Giants must bring him up. Adds Susan Slusser of the San Francisco Chronicle. The lefty last pitched in the majors in 2016 for the Dodgers, and he already made one famous comeback in his career. In 2012, the longtime star fell out of affiliated ball entirely and went to the independent Atlantic League. But he worked his way back to the majors with the Cleveland Indians and then signed with the Oakland A's in 2014. He made the All-Star team that year with Oakland, the third selection of his career, and pitched even better the next summer before being traded away from the rebuilding club in July in a transaction tree that eventually led to Chris Davis. However, the success didn't continue after signing in Los Angeles the following winter, and he was traded to the Atlanta Braves and later released in spring 2018, and now he's back again at age 37. And Kazmir joked, "What year is it?" Among the details in Susan Slusser's story, during his time away from baseball, Kazmir stayed in shape by surfing, and his sons are named Bodie and Utah. Best of luck to Kaz in his potential third MLB career. May you do well enough to get traded away from a so-so Giant team. And, that's pretty much the story. And, I do remember when he was with Tampa Bay, and, he had a solid career there. I'm pretty sure he was a part of that 2008 team that went to the World Series for the first time. And, he's attempting to make his first appearance in a major league game since 2016, with sources saying the lefty's fastball velocity reached 92 to 93 miles an hour in his most recent bullpen session. Kazmir went 10-6 with a 4.56 ERA and 26 starts for the LA Dodgers in 2016, but missed the entire 2017 season because of a hip injury. He was traded to the Atlanta Braves ahead of the 2018 season, but his comeback bid fell short when he failed to win the number 5 spot in the Braves rotation coming out of camp. A 3-time All-Star, Kazmir is 108-96 with a 4.01 ERA over 12 seasons. So, we wish him the best, and hopefully we'll see him back. Back on a big league diamond someday. So that's all. That's the latest on that story. So MF, credit to Derek Ferreira for finding this bit of news. Scott Kazmir. Yes, it's a minor league deal, but who knows? Maybe we'll see him with the San Francisco Giants soon.
Normally, when you get a minor league deal, you're automatically invited to spring training. So he will get an opportunity to play for the team. The 3-time All-Star and the AL strikeout leader in 2007. And yes, Anthony, you are correct. He was a member of the World Series running Tampa Bay Devil Rays back in 2008. When they went all the way to the World Series, unfortunately losing the series to the eventual winners that year, which was the Philadelphia Phillies. So, I mean, this is going to be an opportunity for him to make a run for it. And, we'll wait and see. A lot of times you get these opportunities, hopefully that his desire and that he'll be able to get in there and get an opportunity. But like we said, we'll wait and see how it plays out. But to sign a minor league contract is a great thing because at least that gives you an opportunity. an opportunity just to get in there. And then from there, let the chips fall where they may. I wish you nothing but the best, Scott. Good luck. And Anthony, it's yours.
Okay. Let's see what's next on the docket. All right. Couple more things. We didn't really have too much of a docket this time around, but this is we usually don't have double main events in during our slow period, but this is one of the rare times that we do. And it's going to start off with the NHL. As you know, this past weekend, last weekend, the NHL had not one, but two outdoor games without fans in a stadium on the 18th fairway of the Edgewood Tahoe Resort in State Line, Nevada, on the south shore of Lake Tahoe. And the first game was on Saturday, February 20th, and it featured, well, it was last Saturday, rather, the Vegas Golden Knights and the Colorado Avalanche. And in the second game, it was on Sunday, it was the Philadelphia Flyers and the Boston Bruins. Derek Ferreira and Michael Bullock covered the first game. MF and I covered the second game. We covered the Flyers and the Bruins game because we know the history of those two. And the first game was a little more exciting than the second one, to be honest with you. Now, unfortunately, what had happened was in the first game, Vegas and Colorado, it began play at 12:12 Pacific time, 3:12 Eastern on Saturday. But then play was suspended after the first period due to ice conditions caused by its exposure to heat and sunlight. And let me tell you, it was sunny. It was plentiful, if I do say so myself. The game was resumed at 9:02 Pacific time, 12:02, just after midnight Eastern. The game started on NBC, but then was transferred over to the NBC Sports Network. And then the game ended at approximately 10:50 p.m. Pacific time, 1:50 a.m., with the Colorado Avalanche winning the game by a score of 3-2. Sam Girard scored his second of the year at 2:58, made it 1-0 Colorado. And then when the game resumed in the second period, Alec Martinez, you remember him from his days in LA, obviously. I think that's self-explanatory, Ranger fans. Alec Martinez scored his first goal of the year at 7:37, tied the game at 1. And then Nathan McKinnon, his fourth of the year at 11:18 of the second, gave Colorado a 2-1 lead after 2. And then in the third, Devin Taves, his fourth of the year, put Colorado up 3-1 at 13:11. Alex Tuck then scored at his fifth of the year, 14:25. 3-2, and that's how the score held up. And Colorado outshot Vegas 39-29. Both teams were 0 for 4 on the power play. The 3 stars of the game, the number 3 star was Alex Tuck, who scored a goal for Vegas. Number 2 star was Devin Taves, who scored the game-winning goal, 1 goal and 1 assist. And the star of the game was Nathan McKinnon, the captain of the Avalanche, 1 goal and 2 assists. And that was all. As for our game, the Tony and Mikey special here, if you will, the Philadelphia Flyers and the Boston Bruins on Sunday, it was originally supposed to be at 3 o'clock Eastern time, and then it was adjusted to 11 a.m. local time. But due to the delay on Saturday of Game 1, the league announced that Game 2 would be moved later in the day on Sunday to start at 4:30 local time. The actual start of the game was 4:59 local time, and it ended at 7:25, which was 10:25 here, as a 7-3 win for the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak got the scoring started 34 seconds into the game, made it 1-0 Boston, his 7th of the year, and then Joel Farabee tied it for Philly with his 8th of the year at 6:41. Sean Couturier scored his 3rd at 14:48, 2-1 Philly. That's the last time they would ever hold the lead in the game, because then the Bruins would tie it at 15:27 of the first. Charlie McAvoy, his 2nd of the year. And then in the second period, another fast start. David Pastrnak, his second of the game, 8th of the year, 46 seconds into the second, 3-2 Boston. They never looked back after that. Charlie Coyle, his third at 16:14, made it 4-2 Boston. Trent Frederick, his first of the year, 33 seconds later at 16:47, 5-2 Boston. And then Nick Ritchie at his sixth power play goal, a minute and 6 seconds later, 17:53, Boston. But then James Van Riemsdyk on the power play, his 8th of the year, 12:45 of the third, cut it to 6-3. And then David Pastrnak with a hat trick, his 9th at 17:04. And that's all she wrote. Boston Bruins win 7-3. Boston outshot Philadelphia 35-19. Both teams 1 for 3 on the power play. And the 3 stars of the game, the number 3 star of the game, James Van Riemsdyk for Philadelphia, 1 goal, 2 assists. Number 2 star, Brad Marchand of the Bruins, 2 assists. And the star of the game, obviously, David Pastrnak with the hat trick. And that's all there is to say there. So, wow, what a scene. That's all I can say. I'll get into my thoughts on that. I'll get into my thoughts in a moment because I do believe MF is scheduled to start here. So I got to ask you, Doc, how'd you like it out there on Tahoe?
It was interesting. Obviously, a lot more fun that we had the game. They actually hooked us up with a nice little view of the rink and everything else. So no, we were accommodated really well. But it was enjoyable. It was good. It was fun, and they made history as well. The Flyers and the Bruins, the Lake Tahoe game, actually set it a record. And give it our credit to our good friends at Yahoo Sports for this. They averaged a total audience of 1.068 million people, which is actually the most watched regular season hockey game in the history of the NBCSN. And on top of that, it is actually one of the highest since 2002, when ESPN used to have the rights to the NHL for cable. When it was the San Jose Sharks versus the Detroit Red Wings, they did 1.28 million. So yeah, there was some history made on this. 2 good teams, 2 teams that are not really liked, doesn't really like each other, and unfortunately, the game didn't really pan out the way we were hoping for. But still, a great scenery. The beautiful sunset going over the ocean as we were going into dusk, into the night, and then we just had an excellent game. So really, both games, I think NHL really learned their lesson after the first debacle. I really felt bad for Derek and Bullock, man. They were there all night and all day, man. That was rough for them. They were definitely not happy after they left. They're like, yeah, good luck to you guys. Hope you guys have had more success than we did. Well, we did. So, yeah, it was a long day. There was really nothing more to say. And Anthony, yeah, it was a great, beautiful setting for a hockey game. When we heard we were Lake Tahoe, we're like, wait a minute, Lake Tahoe? I was like, are they really gonna pull this off? Can they really pull it off? First game, not so much, but they definitely learned their lesson going with the later start time, and it was picturesque. It was perfect for our game between the Bruins and the Flyers. So really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, great sight, man. I mean, a lot of the players said it was like when, just like little kids, when little kids, play the game, I mean, just absolutely amazing. And the first game had a little more excitement than the second game, because the second game, it was exciting early, but then once Boston got going, that was pretty much it. I hope and pray that someday we'll get an exciting game again, because we've had a lot of blowouts lately. It's just crazy carrying over from the NFL. But I'll tell you, man, it was an experience for us, for all of us, and You know, it's a shame that we couldn't have a Winter Classic this year, obviously because of COVID and all this other stuff. But it is what it is, and yeah, it was because of the ongoing certain uncertainty of the pandemic, and since fan participation is considered integral to the success, and there was also supposed to be a stadium series game, but that that didn't happen, obviously. So yeah, absolutely amazing, absolutely gorgeous, and you know, absolute blessing. And I hope we get to do something like that again very soon. Hopefully, we'll have a Winter Classic in 2022. That's all there is to say on that. Knock on wood. So, great games all around. Congrats to the Avs and to the Bruins. Great wins, big wins for both. And who knows? Maybe we could see. I wouldn't mind seeing best of 7 series between both of these teams. That's all I know. So, great job. I know MF called it a PR nightmare, but thankfully everything worked out. They acted quickly on it, and I know we've given Gary Bettman a lot of flack over the years, and rightfully so. But whether you like him or not, he definitely did a great job with this. Did a great job handling, the situation in the first game, the Saturday game, and then everything went off smoothly without a hitch after that. So great job. So now to the main event of the evening, to the NBA. We have the rosters, or I should say the starters and the reserves for the upcoming NBA All-Star Game, which will be taking place on Sunday, March the 7th from Atlanta. And first things first, we got the starters. The Los Angeles Lakers, LeBron James, and the Brooklyn Nets, Kevin Durant, lead the list of 10 players who have been selected by fans, current NBA players, and a media panel to start in the 2021 NBA All-Star Game, which will take place on Sunday, March 7th at the State Farm Arena in Atlanta. As the NBA All-Star Game starters, who led their respective conferences in fan votes during NBA All-Star Voting 2021 presented by AT&T, James and Durant will serve as team captains for the Team LeBron versus Team Durant matchup and draft the rosters from the pool of players voted as starters and reserves in each conference. And next Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, TNT will air the 2021 NBA All-Star Draft. And the All-Star Game starters, comprising 2 guards and 3 frontcourt players in each conference, were announced by TNT the other night during NBA Tip-Off presented by CarMax. The All-Star Game reserves, we'll get to those in a minute. But along with James, the Western Conference starter pool includes the Golden State Warriors' Stephen Curry, the Dallas Mavericks' Luka Doncic, the Denver Nuggets' Nikola Jokic, and the LA Clippers' Kawhi Leonard. In the Eastern Conference, Durant joined in the starter pool by the Milwaukee Bucks' Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Washington Wizards' Bradley Beal, the Philadelphia 76ers' Joel Embiid, and the Brooklyn Nets' Kyrie Irving. A record 5 international players have been voted NBA All-Star Game starters. Antetokounmpo from Greece, Doncic from Slovenia, Embiid from Cameroon, Irving from Australia, and Jokic from Serbia. The previous record was 4, which was set last year. So, of course, the All-Star Game, part of All-Star 2021, it's the 70th anniversary, by the way, which will be held all on one night, Sunday, March 7th. The coverage will start at 5 p.m. with TNT NBA Tip-Off presented by CarMax, followed by the Taco Bell Skills Challenge and Mountain Dew 3-point test starting at 6:30. Coverage of the All-Star Game will begin at 8, with the AT&T Slam Dunk Contest taking place at halftime. So for Curry, it's his 7th. For Luka Doncic, it's his 2nd. LeBron James is 17th. Nikola Jokic is 3rd. Kawhi Leonard is 5th. And in the East, and Jonathan Antetokounmpo his 5th, Bradley Beal his 3rd, Kevin Durant 11th, Joel Embiid 4th, Kyrie Irving 7th. And so there you go. So those are the starters. Now to the reserves in no particular order. Brooklyn Nets guard James Harden and Phoenix Suns guard Chris Paul lead the list of 14 players selected by the NBA's head coaches as reserves for the All-Star game. Harden has been named an All-Star for the 9th straight year, and Paul has earned his 11th All-Star selection. In addition to Harden, the NBA All-Star Game reserves selected from the Eastern Conference are Boston Celtics guard Jaylen Brown and forward Jason Tatum, Chicago Bulls guard Zach LaVine, New York Knicks forward Julius Randle, Philadelphia 76ers guard Ben Simmons, and Orlando Magic center Nikola Vucevic. Joining Paul as reserves from the Western Conference are Los Angeles Lakers forward Anthony Davis, LA Clippers forward Paul George, Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert and guard Donovan Mitchell, Portland Trailblazers guard Damian Lillard, and New Orleans Pelicans forward Zion Williamson. Now, the All-Star Game rosters will be determined through the NBA All-Star Draft, where team captains Kevin Durant of the Nets and LeBron James of the Lakers will select from the pool of players voted as starters and reserves in each conference. TNT will air the NBA All-Star Draft next Thursday at 8. Durant and James will make their picks without regard to a player's conference affiliation or position. Each captain will draft 11 players to complete a 12-player roster. The draft rules include the 8 players who, along with the 2 captains, are the starters will be drafted in the first round. The 14 players who are the reserves will be drafted in the second round. As the top overall vote getter among fans, LeBron James will have the first pick in the first round. Kevin Durant will have the first pick in the second round. The captains will alternate picks in each round until all players in that round have been selected. And NBA Commissioner Adam Silver will select the replacement for any player unable to participate in the All-Star Game, naming a player from the same conference as the player who was being replaced. Philadelphia 76ers head coach Doc Rivers and his staff have earned the spot to coach Team Durant, and Utah Jazz head coach Quinn Snyder and his staff have earned the spot to coach Team LeBron. So, Jaylen Brown, first selection. James Harden, 9th selection. Zach LaVine, first selection. Julius Randle, his first. Ben Simmons, his 3rd. Jason Tatum, his 2nd. Nikola Vucevic, his 2nd. Anthony Davis, his 8th. Paul George, 7th. Rudy Gobert, 2nd. Damian Lillard, 6th. Donovan Mitchell, 2nd. Chris Paul, 11th. Zion Williamson, his 1st. So there you have it. There are your rosters. And I like all the picks. I'm fine with all of it. And we'll see who will comprise of team. We'll see who will fully comprise Team LeBron and Team Durant. We'll find that out in a week, and I'm sure hopefully it will all be done before we come on the air next week. And if so, then I think it's very I think it would be very fitting that we maybe did a full-on preview of the All-Star Game and the festivities.
We actually will, because by then we will have the full roster. Next week, we will have the full roster. So by this time next week, we will be getting into All-Star, at least talking about the All-Star Game. So yes, Anthony, we will get into it.
Yeah, I don't know what else is on the docket, but I think it's probably going to be all about that. And
we'll wait and see. You know, the sports landscape. We didn't think we were going to have much of a docket this weekend, and the Tiger Woods thing just landed right on our laps. So hopefully we'll get a significant story, and then after that, the week after is conference championship week. So we do got some things on the docket that we could work with.
Oh yeah, 2 weeks. That's right. The conference tournaments and college hoops. That's right.
Yep.
And then we'll see about Selection Sunday.
Yeah.
So, hopefully we can do that. That radical idea we had. So.
Well, I will get the schedule on Saturday, so I'll let you know if it's a yes or a no by then.
Oh, okay. There we go. So hopefully it will be a go, but we'll wait and see. So as far as our big tournament idea, but anyways, I'm down with all the moves, and hopefully they'll also announce the participants for the events for the Taco Bell Skills Challenge and the 3-point shootout and the dunk contest. Hopefully we'll find all that out as well um, by our show next week. So with all that being said, MF, you heard the starters, you heard the reserves. I got no issues with it. What about you?
No, I don't have any issues as well. I think this is a very stacked, loaded All-Star game team. I know there's a few people that were a little upset about certain players that got starting spots, that felt like some other players probably should have gotten more than others. So I get it. There's always the complaint about it. But the thing is that when you talk about the All-Star game or talk about any All-Star selections, normally the starters themselves is fan voted. So basically, it's really the fans that incorporates it. Then you get the coaches, players, other people that you get. But at the end of the day, you're just trying to assemble who you think are the best players in the world. And that's why you get these type of opportunities. I think the players that got selected, especially a Jaylen Brown, Zach LaVine, Julius Randle, if you notice, there's a lot of first-time guys in here that normally would never ever get an opportunity. That's a big plus if you think about it in the NBA. One other side note, Anthony, I just want to let you know that Commissioner Adam Silver did make a decision. Anthony Davis is out of the All-Star game due to a calf injury. He has been replaced, though, by Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns. So Devin Booker is in. He will be a part of the reserve pool that will be able to be selected due to a calf injury that happened. I guess it was a couple of weeks ago or a week ago to Anthony Davis. Davis will be unable to play in the All-Star game. Devin Booker is in. So he'll be going to Atlanta or on that squad. So you got that going on. So yeah, this is an interesting situation, and I can't wait. So like we said, next week the rosters will be announced, and we will have it here on this show. So nothing more to add, Anthony. Let's call it a night.
Yeah, we'll do. That will put the bow on this edition of Strictly Sports. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. With you tomorrow night, MF will have it.
Yes, we will.
Provided the show is good, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you guys have been laying some eggs lately, especially this past week. So, we'll wait and see. But as of now, tentatively scheduled Cerebral Smack Talk, our review of Friday Night SmackDown, and if MF has anything in the Mikey's mindset, he'll share that. But if not, then it'll just be the Friday Night SmackDown. And then Monday, we'll do it all again, Ridiculously Raw, provided the show's good, of course. Because, we haven't been doing any better. But we do know there will be Wednesday Night Mayhem. I mean, it's a huge Wednesday Night Mayhem coming up. I mean, the big match on AEW, obviously, Shaquille O'Neal, Jade Cargill against Cody Rhodes and Red Velvet. That's the big money moment for AEW. The big money moment on NXT. The double tag team championship matches. The women's tag team titles. Jackson Baszler against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. And, of course, can MSK shock the world one more time as they square off against Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan for the NXT Tag Team Championships. And then this show next week, NBA All-Star Preview. That's on the docket for sure. Hopefully we'll get some other things. Hopefully we'll get some transactions from NFL or Major League Baseball. Hopefully some hot stove stuff will come up, and we'll go from there. So that's it. So until tomorrow night, as of now, provided the show's good, for the Cerebral Smack Talk, it's Anthony Florio signing off on behalf of my panel, good old MF Michael Fletcher, Michael Bullock, Edie Woodson, and always in forever, FKG 401, Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw the Butch and Force style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Friday, and until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, you've been watching Strictly Sports right here on Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, and you play so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.